Greetings, this is Ethan with Echo Us. It's 2021, and I'm just getting done with the finishing touches of the Windsong Spires.
To sleep, to never repeat.
In 2016, I moved to rural northwest Portland and began working on To Wake a Dream and Moving Water almost immediately. Finished that album. It was a very short one in terms of the time cycle. It was only about 6 months. The rural setting was definitely part of both of these albums. I think being in that kind of environment, there was a real focus. And once you go home, for the night or for the day or whatever, and you're there working, there's not much else to do. So To Wake a Dream Moving Water was a really interesting experience as far as creativity and making albums. And it led directly to this one, which took a lot longer to complete. Definitely had some personal changes and moved back to the city after the completion of a lot of the composition phase for this album, and finished it up right where I'm sitting here. Right at the end of composing the Windsong Spires, there was one final song that came, and it came actually after I moved back into the city, and it's called I'll Wave You In. And that one goes a little bit, I think, further back in terms of the feel, the bit of the darkness of the Echo Us debut. Kind of a watershed moment, I think, right at the end of recording this album, and never grew tired of working on it. I did a lot of different arrangements of it, kind of like how I did with The Tide Decides way back when, and it was fun to try a bunch of different stuff because the melody and the words were so evocative. You could just keep working on it.
And I'll wave you in, 'cause I want your love tonight. I want your love tonight. I'll wave you in, 'cause I want your love tonight.
One of the most fun aspects of working on this album was rejoining with the team that recorded the drums for The Tide Decides. Worked again with Andrew Green, drums and percussion, and Chris Finster as engineer and helping me out with the drum production. We got to experiment with a lot of things that hadn't happened in my work in a long time. We used double snares to augment the electronic stuff going on. We had a lot of work on the tom sound, I think, in particular, because we have some really big bashing toms, and we had a nice big room at Chris's studio there to get those types of sounds. But yeah, it was really fun, actually. It was this almost like a repeat experience of like 10 or so or more years before. And that was a real highlight, I think.
You know what I mean?
We also could try.
Is literally the intro toms over the top of
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Okay. So we can either layer it, and I can just do the same. Or we can put the toms on top of it as an afterthought.
I think overdubbing the toms might be a good idea to allow you more freedom.
And this is the one I think I suggested we actually put like Simmons drums on top of it. It would sound fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But
we can.
But yeah, so I can ignore the toms and just play that beat again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna go. Okay, so we're gonna go Vice, Doog, and then the triplet Doog.
Yeah, the one with the less.
And then overdub the Vice on Doog Vice. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Let's go.
Play the first.
Shut up!
Play the first one again, real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
I am waiting in the spring for a note to drop again, for the cradle in the rain is asking me again. I'm waiting as the rain pours within.
Probably the most interesting group of sessions I had on this album was working with classical and choral vocalist Charlotte Engler here in Portland. Charlotte and I had known each other for maybe on and off for 10 or 11 years and kind of always kept in touch and talked about working together. And, you know, finally the circumstances arose that this was the right album and, you know, we both had the right amount of time to do this and make it all happen. We had talked about in the past combining her vocals with a lot of the synthesizer elements on the album or in the music of Echo Us. And I think that was one thing that we would just kind of sit here in the studio and be like, okay, well, what if we do this? What if we do that? What if you try this, you know? And against these synthesizers and you know, sculpting harmonies and also working with my voice, of course. And I think, you know, we had, If You Can Imagine is a really great track, I think, displaying her vocals, you know, in a lead. And then Windsong Spires itself has so much just work that she came in and did, and like grabbing the dulcimer melody directly from it and weaving that into her own part. Which I would have never thought of, and that was what was so fun about making this album with her, and made it much more experimental, I think, than the last one. So yeah, this is another fun and wonderful album to complete. Going back to Awake a Dream and Moving Water and following it through to Windsong Spires is interesting. They're a little bit like sister albums, I think, in that sense. But this one is definitely not Celtic, and I think follows back to, you know, more of the overall Echo Us sound and style that I've been developing for, you know, gosh, a couple of decades almost at this point. But yeah, I feel blessed to have the teams that we have coming in and making this, and, you know, sort of transforming my music and making it everything that it can be in the end. So the album will be out in June. It'll be CD and also all the digital download sites as well. I hope you'll join me on the journey. And yeah, thank you.
I want you love.